War criminal Benjamin Netanyahu on Tuesday publicly announced the violation of the ceasefire that was signed by Donald Trump this month. The dreaded terrorist, currently wanted by the International Criminal Court for crimes against humanity, ordered his gang of psychopaths to launch brutal strikes against Palestinian civilians. This was after he accused Hamas fighters of violating the ceasefire. According to latest reports, Israeli attacks have killed more than a dozen civilians, including children. Not that it matters, but the Israeli violation of the ceasefire has evoked condemnation in the region. Turkey, which was one of the signatories to this month's peace deal in Egypt, condemned Netanyahu for violating the ceasefire. It said in a statement, and I quote, "We emphasize once again that full compliance with the ceasefire is vital for preserving the hope of lasting peace and establishing regional security. We reiterate our call on Israel to adhere to the ceasefire and refrain from actions that undermine peace and stability." End quote. But as I said, it doesn't really matter what Turkey or any other slave Arab nations think of Israel. Israeli savages can't live without causing the bloodshed of innocent Palestinians. Simple. This is the longest they have lived without murdering an innocent civilian, and their restlessness was visible. Even Israel's genocidal partners in the West, such as the US, they were getting increasingly uncomfortable by the fact that their weapons were no longer killing Palestinians' children and babies. This was Thug Marco Rubio this week. Just this week, I think it was yesterday. The question from a media representative was about the durability of the ceasefire, but this white supremacist psychopath jumped in to quickly announce that the ceasefire didn't mean that his Israeli savages couldn't kill Palestinian victims for fun.
For you or Secretary Rubio, over the weekend, Israel assassinated a military official of the Palestinian Islamic Jihad movement. Does that violate the ceasefire law between Israel and Hamas, or are they treated as a separate group?
You're talking about the strike against the Palestinian Jihad individuals?
Yes.
Yeah, look, Israel didn't surrender its right to self-defense. Obviously, the ceasefire is based on obligations on both sides. By the way, we'd also like to see Hamas speed up the return of hostage bodies. We still have 13 hostages, 2 Americans included. But we don't view that as a violation of the ceasefire. They have a right. There's an imminent threat to Israel, and all the mediators agree with that.
According to reports, Israel has accused Hamas of handing over a body of an Israeli captive whose body was already returned last year. Essentially, Israel is claiming that the body returned by Hamas wasn't that of its captive. The rogue settler colony also accused Hamas of violating the ceasefire deal by allegedly staging the digging of the bodies of its dead captives. Hamas fighters are accused of first burying the dead bodies of their captives before retrieving them in the presence of Red Cross officials. See, this is the only excuse Israeli genocidal maniacs need to start killing Palestinians. They know that Palestinians' blood is cheap, as the Western media too now has become a willing partner in the Israeli genocide. So no question would be asked, and these propaganda outlets would happily parrot the Israeli narrative.
Earlier, the Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, ordered the military to carry out what he called powerful attacks. Hamas handed over what it said were the remains of another Israeli hostage on Monday, but Israel says forensic tests showed they belonged to a body already recovered from Gaza 2 years ago.
Then you have US Vice President J.D. Vance saying that there was no violation of the ceasefire.
And also commenting in the last hour, the US Vice President J.D. Vance said the ceasefire was holding despite what he called skirmishes.
What if Hamas had slaughtered over a dozen Israeli civilians, citing any excuses? Would the Western media's reaction be the same? Would Vance still say that the ceasefire was holding? Vance would, of course, call the ceasefire a success. After all, this is crucial for his corrupt boss Donald Trump to stake a claim for the Nobel Peace Prize next year. No wonder even Trump was declaring it a success this week, despite there being over 100 violations. Yes, 100 violations by Israeli terrorists since 10th of October when the peace deal was signed in Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt.
We have peace in the Middle East. That's what we have. Great peace in the Middle East. He thinks it's enduring. He's never seen anything like it. And he's very happy that I got involved. And he helped, and we had a lot of help. We have 59 countries. We have a lot of countries that are signed on. It's just, this should be an enduring peace.
What makes it different?
That everybody agrees. A year ago, it would have been very tough. I think the big thing was when we took out the nuclear power of Iran, when we took out that nuclear capability, which would have happened over the next month to 2 months. That made a whole big difference in the Middle East. It made it possible to do the deal.
Did you talk with them about how the new security arrangement between the U.S. and Qatar will work?
I talked to them about it. We actually covered a lot of territory. It's working very well. It's all smooth. The U.S. doesn't have to get much involved. They're able to take care of their very substantial nations. And, you know, we have Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar. You have the three, and then you have many behind them, and even with them.
When will the
I
stabilization?
mean, if you look, Turkey's involved. Indonesia's involved. Jordan. Egypt. I mean, it's an amazing group of, and many more, many others aside that are a little further away or not as close to the situation. Everybody's on board. It's pretty amazing.
When was
Less confidence that the ceasefire in Gaza would hold?
I think it'll hold, yeah. Oh, it's going to hold. Well, if it doesn't hold, I mean, if it does hold, that would be Hamas. And Hamas will be not hard to take care of. It will be very quickly. But I hope it holds for Hamas too, because you know they gave us their word on something, and they said they took out gang members. Well, I hope that's right. But they gave us their word on something, so I think it's going to. And if it doesn't, then they'll have a very, very big problem.
When will the stabilization force be in place, or when do you need
Pretty
it in
soon,
place?
pretty quickly.
Weeks,
So far,
months?
it's just a period of time. You know, I don't want to give you. We're doing it right now. They're actually picking leaders right now. You're going to have peace in the Middle East. This is real peace. It's never happened before. 3,000 years it's never happened. And great respect when he came to the airport, came onto the plane. That's never happened either.
This was expected. Anybody who thought Israel would honor a ceasefire and cessation from violence is either deranged or has vested interest to support such a ludicrous claim. I said it the day Trump announced the peace deal. I had also said that I would be more than happy to be proven wrong for the sake of our Palestinian brothers and sisters. Unfortunately, I seem to know these Israeli barbarians and their Western backers just too well. That's it from me. Thank you very much for your support of this platform and our journalism. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so, because that's one of the many ways you can support independent journalism. God bless you all.